Hi everybody, it's your favorite hot dad here with another reaction coming to you live from Japan. Now, did you guys ever think, hey, I should have a communist piece of shit on my Japan podcast? Well, don't worry, because there's already 3 guys that already did that. They got their own fucking dudes on the podcast, and I know I'm a little late to the party. I think this happened like last week, but let's get into it, shall we? Yeah, for all you guys who don't know, by the way, I'm Papa Tiko. I've been in Japan a long time, and I speak better Japanese than Connor, but he's got more money than me, so he wins. But anyway, yep. And plus, I think he fucked. I mean, like, if he didn't fuck Shibuya Kaho, I mean, this guy, I could, you know, either way, I'm hoping he did, cause, you know, I mean, just look at, look at him. If it's me saying it, then just look at him, dude. I mean, look at him. This sexy piece of Welsh ass. You know, you gotta get some. Anyway, enough of complimenting this man and how sexy he is. This video is called How Trash Taste Tried to Deal with the Hasan Controversy. I haven't watched it yet, but it popped up in my feed. And yeah, for all of you guys who don't know, Hasan Piker is this communist Nepo baby piece of shit that constantly tells everybody else how to live. And he propagates a very left, very hyper left leaning kind of political message. And the Trash Taste guys are 3 dudes who got famous by talking about anime on YouTube, and then they all eventually moved to Japan, and then they started a podcast where they talk about stuff. And I don't have anything against these guys except that they show Japan from a very, very sheltered bubble. You know, none of these guys except for Joey have really learned Japanese fully. Connor's the guy Gigguk from the UK, he's married to some American chick, and she went viral on Twitter for saying that she was angry that the staff were mean to her, even though I've heard her speak Japanese in videos and it's atrocious. So I don't know, I feel like she was being hyperbole up the ass about that. But anyway, as you can see, I'm not a fan of these people, but I don't hate them either, right? I'm just more I'm more disillusioned, or what is that? I'm not frustrated, but what's the word? It's like I don't care. I'm apathetic towards people that I'm not negating the fact that they probably worked really hard to get the money they have. I'm not saying that at all, the money or the status, right? I'm just saying that, like, I don't want to hear about life from people who are like basically upper middle class or rich about life in a country where they haven't even bothered to learn the language. And these guys, since they're kind of weebs, they lack the backbone and integrity that I think a lot of dudes could possibly have. And it showed completely by having Hasan Piker on how disattached these guys are from reality and what normal people think, especially when Hasan is going through all this stuff. Anyway, we're going to learn more about it here. I don't know if this is a video about somebody like examining the clips or if it's just a clip from the VOD. But anyway, let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah. Okay.
Sexy voice.
All right. What am I looking at? Latest episodes have been bangers. Well, we're just trying to mix it up and try to do different things.
He got banned for streaming Hasan.
But obviously, occasionally, people don't like things, which happened not too long ago as well. But that's a whole thing. Yeah, you noticed. Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is. And a lot of people don't like this because the way that we handle it, and the way that you should handle a lot of these things when they happen, like drama, is that just don't. Sometimes it's just better to just not address anything and just let it just fade. Mainly because when things get too heated, almost, you know, no matter what you would say in that moment, people are still going to be going to be unhappy. Or at least, you know, the group of people that want an apology or whatever, anything like that. If you say anything, they're just going to be more unhappy and it just adds more fire to the flame. So that's why generally we're just kind of like, all right, we'll just let it, you know, let it die down, let it move on. Let them get over it and have their fun for the week. Most of them are brigaders. Well, okay, look, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. So this is going to get clipped as well. I know this now. So I want to be very mindful about how I approach this. If I'm gonna mention anything here, is that I think there are a couple.
What? Look at this little bitch ass behind me right here. Look at this guy. I personally love that episode. I love that person. So I'm glad you were on. Am hole lol. God. Ugh. Ugh. Ugh.
Couple of important things to mention. So I think, first of all, I think from our podcast perspective and from our perspective, if it is fair to say that if we don't engage in politics publicly, because it's just a mess. None of us live in the US. None of us are in any of these kind of intense political situations. I think it is also fair to say that, why would we bring someone political on? Which I think is a very fair and extremely a very fair criticism of us to do, which I agree with. And then I think the most annoying thing from my perspective and this whole thing is that there were legitimately fans of Trash Taste who were unhappy. And it's frustrating because you can't see or actually hear from people who watch Trash Taste or who aren't happy, because it just turned into a political dick swinging contest about which side, which is bad on our part, because we've never had any politics or any kind of talks like that in the comments. So I think it was kind of bad of us to kind of almost invite that. Second of all, the thing that was also very frustrating is that no matter what people were saying, there was a lot of brigading on a lot of sides, and I think that two things can be true at once. There were Trash Taste fans who are unhappy, and there also was brigading happening, which is also very frustrating to deal with, because then it's okay, now we can't actually listen to any criticism on the episode because both sides are jumping in, right? And I even told Hasan, I was like, hey man, can you not? It's bad enough that one side is doing this. Please don't bring up the fucking episode and be like, hey, send people. I was like, just be above this. Don't do this. Because if people who have very extreme beliefs want to go crazy, I can't stop them. They can.
Hold up. See, this is again the disingenuousness that turns me off from their channel. I don't think Connor or Joey or Gigguk, somebody tell me in the chat if you guys know what Gigguk's name is. I forgot, Charles or something. Anyway, the point is I don't think they're bad guys, but it's and I know that sometimes YouTubers they'll make a video 2 months or something ahead of time, and so they it's they might have just had this scheduled, and it would have, I don't know the timeline. Somebody's gonna have to remind me of the timeline of was when Hasan went on their podcast, was that right when the whole content nuke or whatever that H3H3 dropped, or was that after or before? I don't remember, but if they had filmed that 2 months ahead of time and then they released that, and they weren't paying attention, I total pass. But the thing is they were deleting comments, and this is the one thing that really sucks about YouTube. Instagram and I think Facebook lets you do this, where if somebody's not a follower, they can't write a comment, and if they follow you just to leave a comment and then unfollow, the comment disappears, I think. And so I understand what he's saying, how he's we didn't know if it's our fans that were really annoyed and angry, or if it was just random people on the internet who just jumped on the hating Hasan bandwagon. But I don't know. I mean, the thing is just that guy, he again, these guys are not friends with him, I can tell they're not super best buddies. This is a completely transactional business, what do you call it? The reason behind their actions is that it's just trying to get his audience to come over to them and give them money. This wasn't about the Rocka guys hanging out with Logan Paul, they're legit bros and they happen to do YouTube, but they're friends first, YouTubers second. I feel they were we're not friends, we're YouTubers, and we're all getting money from this, and let's keep getting money, and controversy is good even if it's bad. But just to be this so disattached about like what stuff is going on right now just shows like how not in touch with the real world these guys are, you know? It's not like ivory tower kind of shit, but I mean like if you don't know like the current response of that, like it look, if they didn't give a fuck about like, I mean, this is why it feels like so disingenuous to me. It's because like if he was truly their friend, they would have been like, fuck you, he's our friend, we don't care if you don't like him, if you don't like him, fucking unsub. But they didn't say that. They were just like, oh, I told him not to do this, I told him. And I'm like, yeah, so you just invited him on for money. Like that's all you did. That was the excuse. You wanted content, you wanted money, it blew up, and you didn't like it, you know? Am I wrong? Feel free to tell me if I'm wrong, Mr. Prince Dario. Yo, it's my hot, sexy dad. What's up, son? Anyway, let's get back into this. We're only 3 minutes in. Fuck, this is a 17-minute movie. Fuck.
They can do whatever they want. But you hope that at least, you know, another side wouldn't do that as well. So I told him, I was like, hey, please don't do that. And he was like, yeah, man, okay, my bad. But I think as well, you know, I told Hasan as well, I was like, hey, look, the show is not political. We don't want to deal with politics. You know, we're most likely not going to have you on again. No, and that's not like anything like, hey man, you know, it's just like, look, we don't want to fucking deal with politics. I think the Trash Taste viewers also don't fucking want to deal with intense fucking comments. It sucks to read. People just getting fucking upset as shit about it. And I know some like fans of Hasan will be annoyed about that. But you know, I just told them, I was like, look, at the end of the day, we don't want to invite like a fucking shit show to the comments. And I think it was ignorant on our part to think that if we just didn't talk about politics, that it would stay out of it. Because that was our thinking, you know, because we already had him on once and it was fine. But some people were angry about it. But yeah, I mean, it was ignorant on our part to think that, you know, if you didn't talk about politics, it wouldn't matter. But yeah, you know, a lot of things have changed in 2 years. I don't keep up with what's going on. You know, I get all of my news from the BBC. I don't go on Twitter. I uninstalled it. You know, I think all.
I don't go on Twitter. I get all my news from the BBC. I understand. It's so funny how it's like berserk, you sexy man. You know, Wu-Tang. It's so funny how it's like when Biden was in office, you had to watch your P's and Q's so much because you get censored on Twitter. Now that Elon has taken over Twitter and Trump is in office, it's always funny because like whatever political side runs the internet, it always censors the part that's against it. And like right now, like I'm very pro free speech, pro America, and so I really love Elon's Twitter. And I understand that like it has a lot of like negative comment, or you can find anything on Twitter, whether it's good or bad. But I'd rather have Twitter for what it is right now than what it was 4 years ago. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but that's how I feel. And when you're getting all the information from BBC, the government, I don't know if he's even, maybe he just said that off cuff. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and think that he said that off cuff. But it's like BBC, the fucking, the what is it, the government-run media page, or the government-run news channel from the UK government that fucking throws you in jail for leaving a tweet. Meanwhile, having like gang rape fucking immigrant like groups grooming children and shit. And remember, BBC, they covered up, or they purposely didn't cover the story of that Jamie Savelle guy, you know? And so it's like Connor's like, yeah, I trust those guys. Those guys are good in my book. You know, it's fine. Twitter, that's where it's really evil. I'm like, come on. Again, disattached, man, from the reality. I keep looking over here, guys, because that's where the computer screen is. It says, oh, yeah, Twitter was more of a cesspool before Elon, definitely. Life would be better all around if we could just get behind growing the ocean. Exactly. Gavin Newsom is right. We got to put more water into the thing. It's political to say you uninstalled Twitter. Oh, yeah, Twitter was that. Plus Elon's tweets. BBC is a super hot girl these days, right? Dude, Trump got me fucked up saying drug dealers getting the death penalty. That's too much. Whatever, KO. You know, it's fine. Anyway, let's keep going.
All of us were kind of blindsided by it. So it was kind of, you know, a lot of people like they're out of touch. I'm like, I guess, like, I think that's safe to say if being in touch is living on Twitter and engaging with politics 24/7, because we just don't do that. We've never done that. I think that
I get what he's trying to say, but you don't have to be involved in politics. Dude, like, I'm on Twitter way too much, and I retweet really based right-wing shit all the time. But again, it's like, dude, like, you don't need to be on Twitter 24/7, but it only takes, like, a 5-second search on YouTube. If this guy is not your friend and you want to kind of gauge how people are going to react if he goes on your podcast, you could look up Hasan Piker YouTube search within the last 2 weeks, and it'll show you what's popular about him. And yeah, I mean, but you didn't have the hindsight to look that up. And then on top of that, like, it's either you knew and you didn't care, or you were too lazy to look it up, which this is your podcast that you make thousands of dollars a week off of, or, you know, it's like you did it. Oh wait, sorry. Oh fuck, I'm all over the place. It's either you didn't look it up because you're lazy, you knew what was happening and you didn't care, or you know, you were looking at other sources that reaffirmed what nobody else was saying. And either way, that's not good, man. That's not good. Okay. But let's see right here. Oh, there we go.
it's unhealthy. I feel like the level of vitriol is almost like at a point that is so like toxic to everyone involved, that I have no wish to engage with it. And so I just don't. You know, I keep up with generic news, but I don't engage with any political spheres online. Like so it's kind of hard to keep up with. It's endless doom scroll. And I also think as well, and I think it's really important to mention as well, that I think some people forget as well, just because we speak English, and a lot of our viewers are American. You know, none of us have ever lived in America. None of us are American. We don't keep up with what is going on. I already see too much politics from a country I don't live in, that I don't want to know. I see more about that than my home, the UK, which is crazy. And Japan as well. I get fed fucking more American stuff. I turn on the news, it's all American stuff. You know, and I think it's also important to mention that I think that, again, there were Trash Taste viewers who didn't like the episode and don't agree with it and who are disappointed. And I think that's valid, you know. I think it's fair to be. But obviously it doesn't, you know, just because we have someone on doesn't mean we agree with every single thing that they would say either. Now, fun fact. Because I'm sure people are wondering. I was keeping an eye because I was looking at what was going on. And I loved looking at the stats because... I don't know, even while all this stuff was going down, I did find it terribly interesting to look at the back end stats of what was happening. And it was kind of interesting, I'm not gonna lie. So the way YouTube works as well when you lose subscribers, by the way, is that it does it in increments of 10,000. And so sometimes some people, you know, they love to be like, oh, they lost this many, right? Not entirely true. I can actually tell you the exact amount of subs that we lost, because I think it's interesting. And I think that it also serves value to explain that it is not just people outside of Trash Taste. We did lose subs. I can tell you exactly how many right now. Let me find out. We lost 4,000 subscribers, which is not a lot, but I also think it is disingenuous, and I think it's bad to pretend like, you know, that people aren't unhappy. So, like, you know, I'm like that's sad. I feel bad that 5,000, 4,000 people who watch Trash Taste feel like they can no longer watch it. You know, that feels bad, and that's a miscalculation on our part.
Again, I don't watch this dude's podcast, but I'm just assuming that it's like, look, if somebody's watching you, they respect you in some way, you know? They respect either the content that you put out, they respect the fact that you're online, being like an online personality or something. There's something that they like about you. And if they like you, they respect you, right? To a certain extent. I mean, like fucking Homelander bullshit kind of thing, right? But the thing is that if they like you and they think you're a smart guy and that they can relate to you, and then you just go out of left field and you bring this guy on that's not only controversial at the moment, but also is just a douchebag nobody fucking likes. I mean, for all I know, Hasan Piker's probably a nice guy in person, possibly, but he says such stupid shit online that it pisses off enough people. And so if you don't understand why people would be angry about that, or like again, like the foresight, or at least like, you know, you're wanting to like kind of save your podcast from looking like it's stupid. When you do that, people lose respect for you, and like you don't care because you're probably on autopilot or something. But that's not the way the world moves. You know, you gotta, like, you know, you're not a dumb guy, but when you do shit like this, people think you're dumb. So you can't do that. Okay, let's keep going.
There was also a couple of stuff flying around that was interesting. So first of all, a lot of people were accusing me of deleting comments. We're not deleting comments. We never have. YouTube has auto moderation, so naturally, if you put the word terrorist in a comment,
nope. I call bullshit. You can have because like this is what happened with my sushi video back in the day. I had a sushi video that went viral, and for the first couple days, people were really nice. They were engaging in it, and then the trolls got ahead of it, and I was like, I'm not going to censor anything. And then immediately, all these people that wanted to like jump and hate on me and shit, they jumped in there. And so what I did was I went onto YouTube, and you can type in your own custom words that will not show up and get automatically caught by the thing. And so you can go into there in the community settings, and once I started censoring that stuff, the likes started coming back, the nice positive comments started coming back, and it's like, yeah, I had to kind of like silence the trolls. And you know, it's like this isn't Twitter, right? Like this is my platform. I'm not gonna have you talk shit about me on my own fucking platform, right? And so these guys, I call bullshit on that immediately. Like they obviously were like trying to make, because I've gone on that fucking that video that they were talking about, the VOD, and all the comments when I saw it, they were all positive, but there was a shit ton of dislikes. And if you're on Chrome, you can have a bring back YouTube dislike button add-on from the Chrome store, and it'll show you how many dislikes, and they had a shit ton of dislikes there. So yeah, you know, I don't believe him. I think that they put those words into the community thing so they get automatically held, and then they purposely didn't. I mean, like, I do the same thing, you know. If somebody's like, hey, fat fuck, die or something, yeah, like, they just get banned, and, like, the auto mod picks it up and whatever, right? And it's, but yeah, like, these guys, like, the funny thing is that if they had just taken down that episode and been like, yep, sorry, guys, we fucked up. Our bad. We won't have that douchebag on. He's not even our friend. That was a total cash grab. I'm sorry. I apologize. It would have blown over so easily. But these guys are like, ooh, controversy clicks, and money and AdSense and boobs and hookers and blackjack. Let's keep going. Wait, hold on. What's my chat say? Just KO talking stupid shit, and then it just seems intellectually lazy to not do your homework. I mean, yeah, exactly. And then some guy who says he knows me, I don't recognize his screen name at all. And then Wally Lipton, the people that don't find Hasan controversial have politics like Hasan. Yep, yeah, pretty much, dude. Yeah, so there you go. Had me on boobs and hookers and blow. That's right. We got to put more water in the ocean, guys. Gavin Newsom was right.
A lot of the time, YouTube is going to flag that, because why wouldn't they? You know. And there was some of the comments were kind of crazy. You know, some of the language was inflammatory, and they're like, "Why is my comment being deleted?" And they said like literally like the 5 key words that would get you banned. One other thing that I noticed is that when I looked at the comments and I'd scroll. And I don't know what's happening here, and I don't know what exactly is happening. But I would literally see comments, you know, because I was watching the comment feed from the back end, right? So from like the admin side, some comments would appear. There were negative comments, which is fine, I don't care. That would have 10 likes within like 1 second, which I thought was like, huh. Because on YouTube, the most important part of a comment's lifespan is not if it gets to 5,000 likes. It's if it can get a lot, like a 10 to 20 likes in the first like 10 seconds, because that's what will bump it up. So I don't know what's going on there and how that works, but that was the thing. One other also thing that I noticed that I will just mention very briefly, I'm not going to get too much into it, is that well, there was obviously a lot of bandwagoning on it because people were, you know, loving it and people don't like Hasan. And so people were jumping on it and making videos about it. There was a lot of stuff that people said that was just flat out not true, and people were just making stuff up. Some people were saying like, oh, they didn't have this guest on. They said they were too controversial, but they had another guest on. That's never happened. That's just a bunch of lies.
Nope. Come on, dude. Oh, you definitely did that. Come on, guy. Like, I think that the thing is that they had Hasan on. It's pure speculation on my part, but they had Hasan on because they thought they could get away with it. They thought they could get away without a lot of backlash, but they didn't think all of it all the way through, right? So, yeah, that's where you gone fucked up. But they have definitely probably not had anybody that was controversial on there for a reason. Otherwise, they would get anybody who did something that like was getting a lot of views on there, you know? Like, come on, dude. That's the way you do it. DBZ Duke, I was talking shit about you earlier before we started reacting to this. It was fun. You sexy man. I was saying how you're always a bitch in Nomad's chat when I go over there. But it's okay. We still love you. But it's funny because the opening thing on this video was you were in the chat here. You were like one of the chat guys in his chat behind me. And that's funny. And I was saying how you're parasocial and you're on everybody else's fucking live streams and it's sad. But anyway, let's keep going. It's fun.
So I don't know what that was about. There was also the only things that were disappointing from me, my perspective as well, that like really, I was like, man, what the fuck? Is that people would then make whole narratives based around, because we had X on, that we then couldn't criticize any other creator. We couldn't, you know, they were like, oh, you know, these people have changed, they're horrible, yada, yada, yada. And that was like, oh, okay, that sucks that people are just making assumptions, but not a big deal. But yeah, no, I mean, look, the reason why we didn't address it right away, we wanted to wait, was because a lot of people were, you know, they were just demanding things. There were a lot of comments that like, you need to delete this episode, where I feel pretty confident in saying this, where if you ask Trash Taste viewers, do you want them to delete the episode? I think most viewers are sensible. They would say, hey, even if I don't agree with this episode, or I don't agree with this one, I wouldn't want you to delete an episode. You know, I think that's crazy. Now, also, I want to make it very clear as well, in case.
Doesn't he have like a Reddit or like a Discord or like a Twitter where he could like post a vote and be like, should I delete this? Where only people that are following him can like contribute or like vote for it. He could have easily done that, you know, but he didn't. And it's like, well, what if people just followed just to vote? Well, then he would get a huge upticks of follows, right? So like again, like they know that they're making AdSense money on that. They probably got a sponsorship for that video too, so they don't want to take it down. Like it's all about money at the end of the day. How else is he gonna afford that big giant monkey in the background? Come on.
You're watching this on YouTube, that because this is no doubt gonna be a clip, that I'm sure that there's a good chance the comments, you know, might get taken over depending on how big this clip is. Please think for yourself. Please don't just read top comment and form your opinion based around that. Obviously, you're all adults. I trust you. And what I really appreciated is that a lot of Trash Taste fans did seem to be just tired of people picking a side and being emotionally charged about it, and we're kind of just like, hey, maybe it's not for me. All good. Next episode. Or hey, I don't engage with this. I'm done. So I appreciate a lot of the sensibility in this, because I think, look, we live at a time where everyone is so emotionally charged, and there's just so much rhetoric and so much, you know, everyone's got an opinion, everyone's got a side. And so I appreciate that people sometimes can have a sensible approach to it. I think what you will always get from me is never a clear-cut answer. You will always get an argument that I try to be as sensible as possible, and I try to consider all sides. And I'm not like a centrist or anything like that, or whatever, or any fucking thing like that. The reason I don't talk about my political opinions online is not because I don't have any political opinions. It's just because I just think that the online space does not get anything out of me talking about it. There's nothing to engage. I don't think.
You know, like, remember when, like, we were growing up and, like, the best, like, celebrities were the ones that were like, I don't think you should ever involve religion and politics in your work. And, yeah, I miss those days. I really do. You know, I was never very vocal about politics until Trump won, and then I realized that all these leftists that have been trying to control the narrative forever are, like, they're losing power, and it makes me feel good. And so I feel like I can finally say what I've been trying to, like, that I've been wanting to say for, like, the past 4 years when Biden was in office. And so, yeah, but I understand, but I do think that if you ever got to that level of celebrity, it's probably better that you don't talk about politics, you know? Like, you don't want that to be associated with your quote-unquote art, right? But at the same time, why the fuck have somebody that is purely a political figure guy that, you know, like, why put a political entertainer on your platform if you don't want that to come? Especially, like, it isn't like he had Bill Maher come on or something, right? It isn't like he had like Jon Stewart. He had fucking Hasan Piker, like you know, the guy who Sam Hyde wants to do things to. They're all going into open source projects and changing whitelist to allow list now. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going.
I think it provides any value. I just hate France, and I think that's a fair opinion.
Just hates France. Okay. Okay, I do agree with
but,
you
you know, at the end of the day, I feel that the internet would be a lot better off if some people just knew how to shut the fuck up. And that's kind of where I stand. And so I'm of the opinion that, look, I think I'm an informed guy, but I also recognize that the internet doesn't benefit from me sharing my opinion.
No, you're just afraid about having the wrong opinion.
And it's okay also to not have an opinion. I think it's also okay to not give a fuck, because I think it's kind of fucking exhausting right now. And look, you don't always have to be on 24/7. I think you can tackle it at your own way. You can tackle it in a way that you want. But, you know, I was inevitably going to talk about this at some point anyway, just because I wanted to talk about it as well. I didn't feel pressured to talk about it at all, but I thought there's a lot of interesting things to discuss, and I'm sure I'm going to look back at this clip and feel like I should have said 10 different things differently. But I think the underlying point is the same. Of like, look, to the Trash Taste fans that are disappointed, sorry, you know, it is unfortunate. Are we going to delete the episode? No. If you did you unsubscribe? Okay, I apologize for that you felt the need to unsubscribe. But at the end of the day, you know, there was it was just we did not estimate what would happen.
Yeah.
And then there's like a million drama channels that jump onto it, and it's like, okay, this is just, you know, it went from being the opinion of actual Trash Taste fans to very quickly becoming the opinion of like certain groups who would just kind of rally around it.
Certain groups.
So yeah, it was unfortunate, and you know, people will all come into chat or they comment and stuff, and they're like, hey, when are you know, how fucking dare you? Are you going to address this? Yeah. It's like, look, at the end of the day, if I address it, a lot of these groups of people are not going to be happy with anything or any kind of response, right? Because if you say I'll delete it, a lot of fans who didn't give a fuck will be annoyed. If you say, all right, we won't delete it, then they'll get annoyed no matter what, and then maybe it's deleting is not enough for some people, you know. So if you start trying to chase apologies, you end up just pleasing no one and just looking like a coward.
But you're still explaining it right now.
You know, which is why when
you're still explaining it though. If you really, I mean, like, he's younger than me, so I got to give him the benefit of the doubt here. But it's like, if you don't want it to be a big deal, why are you talking about it? Like, this is the hard thing about like trying to stream and be a YouTuber, right? Like, you got to just pick one. Because if you're a YouTuber, then you could just James Rolfe it, right? Like James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd, he had some controversy with like one of his employees, and he just didn't address it, and he just kept uploading. But like these guys, when they're streaming, like of course the most recent thing that's happened, they're gonna have to talk about it. So just like again, like these guys are chasing the money. They're chasing the money. I need the money. And so it's like, if he really wanted to, if this wasn't a big deal, if he had better things going on and he didn't care about making money, like I wonder how much money he made during this live stream where he's talking about this controversy, you know? Like if it wasn't really that big a deal, you just wouldn't have streamed for like a month or two, just let it die down. But you didn't. You just kept escalating, you know? Just ignore it. Keep moving on, you know? If there's anything they should have said, these guys, we messed up and we'll do better next time. Exactly. They just like, boom, boom, bam, you're done. Dad, why did I put cheeseburgers on my cheeseburger? I know, Jakey. Plus, he's associated with other YouTubers quite regularly, so he brings politics and associates these politics with them. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, if you're bringing him on to your politics thing and then you're saying, I don't have an opinion about politics, like, again, like, this isn't, like, you're just trying to farm clout farm or whatever, audience farm from the guy, and that's fine, but like again, like your motivation at the end of the day was attention and money. So like there's no conviction, there's no backbone behind this besides we just wanted to make content. No, you wanted to be lazy. If you wanted to make content, you go make a viral video or something, not just talk on a fucking podcast. Is it, well, aren't you doing that? Aren't you just doing that by reacting to other people's videos? I'm like, hey, I am studying Japanese and I am Twitch streaming so that all two people in my chat can be entertained by my opinions. I'm doing this for the fans, obviously. But I don't know, man. I'm just saying, like, am I wrong? Feel free to say I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong here. Okay, the video's almost done. Let's keep going.
When, you know, Hasan saw it and he felt bad and he was like, hey, are you going to make a statement or anything? I was like, no, I'm not going to make a fucking statement. Who gives a fuck? Like, you're not going to please anyone by making a statement. People just want to be annoyed because they want to be annoyed right now. You didn't watch and moved on? Look, I appreciate that. Thank you. I think the internet would be so much better if we had a bit more respect, but hey, look, that's how it goes. And you will engage in the cultural. I'm doing everything in my fucking power not to, because I don't give a fuck, because I feel like half the time it's not even about like politics or anything like that. It's just about being right or wrong, or being on the side. It's just pure tribalism, man, and I just don't want to engage with it. It's just bad for your brain. It just doesn't help. I just feel worse whenever I read any of this shit. Or when I, like whenever there's, like, absolutely demonstrably false things being said, I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on? I can't engage with this anymore.
Yeah,
like,
dude, you poked the beehive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, look, and that's why, again, I want to reiterate that we told Hasan, because, we saw him reacting to it and being like, hey, get in there and stop. He was trying to brigade against people who were brigading it, who they were. There was Trash Taste fans who didn't like it, and there was people brigading, and I told Hasan, I was like, don't do this. I think it's petty.
Yeah, okay, we're done. I don't think I'm really missing anything here with the last 2 minutes. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, angry video game nerd knows what's it. This guy lives in Japan. Yeah, he lives in Japan, Razzletooth. Also, you hit the nail on the head with the whole he's afraid of saying the wrong thing with his politics. Well, I mean, yeah, like, there's nothing wrong with, like, if you are an entertainer, your job is to entertain, not to be Bono and give your because anytime you say something, people will find something to contradict what you're saying. And if you're a dude with 2 people watching him, it doesn't really matter. But if you have, like, thousands of people watching you every stream or whatever, then you got to be kind of cautious. And that's why, like, celebrities don't stream, because, like, when they say stuff, it's like, it's scripted, it's short, and it's to the point. Well, at least it used to be. But I just realized the microphone was fucking, sorry guys, I didn't put the microphone back up for that. Yeah, your mic's a little bit low. Yeah, sorry guys, shit. Thanks for reminding me of the chat. But yeah, it's like what he should have done is apologize by bringing a cup of water and withering the ocean. Yeah, this is, guys, you got to be like Gavin Newsom, okay? You don't put the water in LA where the fires go. No, you put the water back in the ocean because the ocean needs water. How else is it going to grow big and strong if you don't fucking water it? But yeah, I mean, it's just like, yeah, like bring on, yeah, invite Charlie Kirk or Matt Walsh to debate. Yeah, I mean, like that's the whole thing. Like if you have like an extreme leftist like Hasan, have like an extreme right guy on. Have like have that guy who helped make the Vice magazine and like the Proud Boys guy. Have him on. That would be funny, you know? Like balance it out. Like when you guys do stuff like this, it makes me think that you don't have a spine, okay? It means that you're doing stuff not based on conviction or even true friendship. You're just doing it because you want the paycheck, you know? And yeah, man, I don't know. I just, that's what I got to say about the war in Vietnam. Yeah, so that was how Trash Taste tried to deal with Hasan controversy. What did you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to see more of these live of these reaction videos, and if you want to participate in them in real time, make sure to go over and follow my Twitch or Kick. All the links are down below. And yeah, don't forget to binge all the rest of the reactions I've got on the top comment here. And yeah, you guys stay black. And Otskare-sama deshita. Yeah, buddy.
And started caring about something with all your heart and energy, but you can't care about it if you're always holding yourself back in case it doesn't work out.